Welcome to Building an Empire. Hey guys, Stefano here. Episode 7. Good times ahead. Today is a special one. Something that I've wanted to talk to you guys about for quite some time. It's a topic that a lot of people think they know. Probably some of you have your way of working it. Some people have had their success. But I think overall, the big question always remains, how do I sell my product? How do I sell my brand? How do I be a salesman? I mean, that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. You have to be the best salesman in your company. Regardless if you have no employees or 1 million employees, you have to know how to sell. That's what it comes down to. You have to be the best salesman you can be because no one will ever know your business better than you do. So I ponder my thoughts and I scratch my chin and I wonder, what can I offer you guys that I can help perhaps teach you how to be a better salesman? I'm thinking to myself, okay, first things first, I'm going to be very honest and blunt with you. Not everyone can be a salesman. Not everyone can pitch their idea. Not everyone can go and get the clients out there. I mean, if everyone could do that, being a salesman, the reality is everyone could do it. It's like me saying, go and be a real estate agent. The reality is it's very, very difficult. You have to be a great people person. You have to have knowledge of the markets, and you got to know what the next inflation is going to do and where the buyer's market is, where the seller's market is. It's extremely complicated. I have a lot of clients in the real estate world, and to be quite honest, I'm very content doing what I do, and you all can do what you do because I tip my hat to you. It's a difficult business, and more importantly, you always have to be on. You'll always have to be ready to be that salesman to really sell it. So, salesmen in general, I do tip my hats to you because it is a difficult business. However, now I come into the picture. However, if you've learned a way to tap into your market and you've become a person that has a really good track record. So, on my end, when I approach a client, number one, I don't like the whole cold calling. I don't think it's personal enough. I don't think you truly understand who you're pitching to, who you're pitching for. That's the thing. I think there's a misconception about being a salesman in general. You really have to know your product and the person that you're connecting with. There is cold calling. I get it. There's door-to-door salesmen. Those particular people, I personally could never do it. I think it's an inconvenience to just abruptly go into someone's life and say, hey, listen to me, because everything else you have in your life is not worth waiting for. You have to listen to me now. That mentality I do not like. I hate. So because of the wonderful world of social media, everyone seems to think that is the key. That is the key to just go at it. DM everyone. And yes, a lot of motivational speakers have suggested this. They've suggested social media, now you can connect with every CEO and every blah blah blah, and I've heard it 1,000 times, guys. Honestly, let me tell you one problem with that. Okay, the saying goes, if you hit 100 social media accounts, one will respond back, and it could potentially lead to a sale. That's a lot of time being wasted, don't you think? That is a hell of a lot of time being wasted. So you get that one job. Now, are you honestly telling me that you're going to spend days doing this just in hopes? And let's be quite honest with you. Once you do connect with that one person out of 100, you then have to study them. You then have to work with them. You have to properly know if you can even do something for them that would benefit them, not you, benefit them. That's the whole purpose of being a salesman. You are trying to help the client to benefit, to make it worth their while, not your while, worth their while. So I think that philosophy is complete garbage. The truth has to be told. That's the way. That's not the way I do it. I think it's very impersonal, and you won't get the client like that. What I think you should do, and this is for all B2B, so business to business, and this is all. And what I mean by that is, if you're a business approaching another business, trying to offer a service like what I do, this is what I honestly think people should do. Now, of course, people are going to ask, why are you telling everyone your secret? Why is this happening? Why are you doing that? And I'll be honest, guys, it's not a secret. This is just common sense. And I really do believe that because of a lack of compassion and common sense and being humble has diminished for some reason, maybe I can bestow upon you a little bit of a humble approach. And maybe you take some knowledge out of that too. So my philosophy is this. Instead of wasting your time messaging, DMing 400 companies in a day, the fact of the matter is, what you should do is you should look at your genre and say, okay, you know what? I am a business so for example, you're a photographer and, sky's the limit. You can approach any business to offer your services. That's the reality of photography and even video content, right? So if you're a photographer, for example, and you want to approach a business, the idea is you don't want to do a standard message and say, hey, you know what? I'd love to do photo shoot for you, free of charge. Let me know. Even if you say free of charge, the majority of the people won't even acknowledge you just because it's just so impersonal. So here's my philosophy behind it. If you want to do that, if you want to approach clients, before you even message them, what I suggest you do is invest the time and look into their brand, look into their business. Be smart about it. Don't approach them extremely cold, extremely quick, and without a heart. It's lacking, guys. I'm telling you, that's lacking. The biggest the structure in your personal establishment. So you as a person, your structure should all start from the core. What I mean by the core is it should start from you approaching them with no intention other than to properly introduce yourself and then take it from there. So if you're approaching a client, okay, what I would recommend, and this is my takeaway from being a salesman, a saleswoman, salesman, a salesperson. When you approach a client, look at their branding on Facebook, on Instagram, on wherever they're more passionate on, and take a look at what they're selling. Take a look at what they're doing. Take a look at their service, their product, their ambition, their creation, their ideas. Look at what they've established. Take what they're doing and do your notes and write down what you honestly can offer them. And if you can even do one point that you can offer them something of value to them, not value to you, now all of a sudden you have a client that you could potentially help. The next step is, how am I going to pitch it to them? How can I approach said client and say, I want to do your work. Could you hire me? Could you even message me back? The next step is this. After you've done your research and after you've truly grasped what they're trying to do, what they do, what they're trying to do, and what they want to accomplish, the next stage should be nothing more than an appreciation. You will message them. It doesn't matter the person, big or small. Introduce yourself properly with your name and the attention that you want to introduce yourself, as if shaking their hand through the phone. And you will only say, I absolutely love your work. I love it for these reasons. And I hope you have an absolutely great day. That's it. It's called just being humble and appreciative. Now, odds are that they will respond back and say thank you. Okay, this is not your window to go and attack them like piranhas and say, yes, now can I give you this? Can I do that? No. What this means is that now you've bestowed a certain sense of friendship. Okay, so from there, you continue to follow them. You continue to appreciate their work. You engage with them. You become a person that wants to follow them only because you think that they have true potential, with or without you. I'm going to pause right there and let you think about what I just said. With or without you. So that means you're implying, what are we implying, guys? What we're implying is that they don't need you. You don't need them. We're all neutral. We all appreciate each other. Okay. Once you engage them, once you become a follower and someone that appreciates them and supports them, once you've built the support network, now you can start to figure it out. Could you really truthfully think that a photo shoot might benefit their product? You know what? After a few weeks, that's right, you heard me, a few weeks of truly understanding what they're posting, what they want to do, what they want to reach, Now there's absolutely no problem with suggesting that, you know what, this is what I do. I honestly think after watching and following what you do, perhaps maybe this could be an avenue that we can maybe talk about over a coffee. Get it? Over lunch. Let me take you out for a coffee and let's maybe discuss it. You're not pitching anything. You're not asking for money. You're just getting together to throw creative ideas at each other. Will it dissolve into something? Maybe. Will you make something of it? Maybe. Will nothing come from it? Probably. But getting that first step to getting into their door, to showing them that you don't have malicious intent, that you are not there to scam them, that you are not there to take their money, that you truthfully are there because you think that you can bring something of value. Now all of a sudden this coffee meeting becomes a meeting of creative value for both you and the client that you're approaching, because they can bounce ideas off of you that you could benefit from and vice versa. So this is where I become not only a salesman, but a representative of myself, of my brand, and of my business. You are now going in there not only as a salesman, but as a creative consultant, a marketing specialist, a person that has analyzed and looked deep into their Instagram, for example. Having said that, when you do set up a meeting, if it happens, which the odds of it being done properly and happening are very good, and I'll tell you why. Because everyone always wants to get better. They always want to improve what they have. Now, money, revenue is a big deal. However, creativity is the one thing that a lot of people are lacking. Okay, that's the reality of it. But once you go into this meeting and you already know about their business, just think about that. Think really good about that. So I can guarantee you, if we were to do a little contest, let's message 30 clients and you do your cold calling and I'll do my research. You will do your cold calling one day you're done, and you're gonna wait for the next week, and most likely you'll get nothing back. Maybe one, maybe a thanks, maybe really nothing. But for me, out of those 20 or 30 or whomever, if we compare, I'm almost positive that I'll get at least a 50% back. Not because I'm guessing, it's not a guesstimate, it's a for sure. Because I've seriously invested into the time of my client, the time to truly understand their business. So this way I am not looking like an idiot. And I use that word very liberally, because being an quote unquote idiot doesn't mean that you're dumb. It doesn't mean that you're naive. It means that you haven't done the right research. You haven't done something that could benefit them. You've only done something that could benefit yourself. Remember what I told you in the last episode? I talked about long term. Being a salesman, especially online, is a long-term job. You want to become not a salesman, you want to become an analyst, a sales analyst, someone that has already looked into their business and you honestly feel that you can contribute. This is my takeaway of this podcast for you guys. Being a salesman doesn't mean that you're just selling it. That means that you have to know it. You gotta talk the talk. You can't walk the walk without talking the talk. You gotta have both. You gotta be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. And there's a saying that I always say to everyone: never have high expectations, but give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you can do it. And if you're right in the middle of that you don't expect too much, but you also don't take too much away from yourself, then now you're talking serious. So always remember this. This is what I'm going to take away from this. This is what I'm going to leave you with. Don't take advantage of other people's time. Make sure that whenever you approach someone, you're valuing their time, but value your own time too, because you can't just go in and spend hours and hours and hours cold messaging people that you don't know. You don't know about their business. You don't know if they're doing well or not well. You don't know if they're about to close their doors or if they just open their doors. Okay, because at the end of the day, everyone's going to look out for themselves. You are a stranger that you now have to come into their own life. And if they don't know you and you don't know them and you don't know nothing about their business, my question to you is, what are you going to offer them? Exactly, right? This is the terminology that you guys have to have. And I say this to a lot of my students. I say this to a lot of the people that ask me. You have to be humble and you have to hustle. Those are the two things that you need to do on a daily basis, which will give you success. So as always, my friends, this is Building an Empire. It's a podcast of love. I only do it because I really think that there's a lot of information that's being misled by other motivational speakers, and they don't give you the full 411 of what has to be done. They just give you a half answer, and then the other half you got to pay for. I don't believe in this. So please follow me at TTL Films on Instagram. And of course, ask me any questions. I'll be glad to answer them. I'll see you next episode. Ciao.